Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Just Add Water by Hunter Shea. It's from Lyrical Press, which is Kensington Publishing. It's only available in digital right now, which is why I do not have a book to hold up and show you. If you want to see that very cool cover, just go back to the image at the beginning of this video and check it out. First of all, Just Add Water is the first of a 3-book series called Mail Order Massacre, I think is the sort of group title, and each story is based on the old, or the whole thing was inspired by, anyway, old comic book ads. In the backs of comic books, there were ads for things like sea monkeys, X-ray specs, all sorts of crazy different things. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but I got to angle it, but there's an old sea monkeys ad right there. I don't know which way it's best, but so there you go, an old sea monkeys ad from the back of a comic book, only $1.25. So you'd cut out the order form from the back of your comic and you'd order these things that were never as cool as you wanted them to be, but that was the inspiration for these stories that Hunter Shea has written. The first 2 are out. The third one, I believe, comes out in October. So I have the first 2. I've read the first one, Just Add Water. Our main characters are 2 kids, Patrick Richards and David Estrada. They're big comic book fans, and at the beginning of the summer, they ride their bikes down to the local store where they get their comic books. They pick some stuff up, and they go home, and they read them, and they're looking through, and they see an ad for the amazing sea serpents, and they decide, what the hell, let's give it a try. So they send away for them. And I may have the timeline slightly wrong. Maybe they send away for them before the end of the summer. Doesn't matter. It's summertime when they arrive, and they're disappointed. It's not what they expected. So they end up dumping it down the sewer. But it turns out that these amazing sea serpents weren't the crappy little weird-looking things that were floating around in their tank. They're actually freaking sea monsters. And they grow up in the sewers, and they emerge, and they attack the town, and there's terror, horror, and mayhem, and Patrick and David and their friends, and everybody needs to figure out how to survive this attack of sea monsters. So this is, it's Hunter Shea, even with a light, for lack of a better term, a quick, sort of fun story like this. It's got that Hunter Shea feel to it, and it's definitely not a kid's story. It's very gruesome. There's plenty of violence and gore in this story. Even though the main characters are kids, it's not for kids. It just came out last week. The new version of It came out, so that comes to mind when I'm talking about something where the main characters are kids, but it's not for kids. I'm not comparing the two in any other way. That just because, it's been a week and people are still buzzing about this movie, It. So that just happens to pop into my head. The creatures are very vicious, very cool. Dare I say, solution to the problem is interesting. And there are some twists and turns. There was certainly something that happens at the end that was shocking. And it's definitely a fun, gruesome ride. And I love the fact that it was inspired by the old sea monkeys. I'm looking forward to reading Optical Delusion, I think is the name of the second one. I have that. It's about X-ray specs, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. I can see how sea monkeys can become sea monsters, can become this gruesome horror story. Not sure what X-ray specs are going to do, so we'll see. But as for this one, Just Add Water, it's another good Hunter Shea story. I mean, the man really hasn't disappointed me. There are things, types of stories that he writes that I like better than some of the others. This sort of fits, I think, in the middle as far as the Hunter Shea bibliography. But it's well worth reading. I think it was $1.99 for the Kindle, so it's not expensive. So I give Just Add Water by Hunter Shea 4.5 out of 5 sea monkey heads there. I tried to copy them from the ad. They're really goofy looking, and they were just little, what were they? Some sort of shrimp or prawn or something. Little tiny things that you'd grow in a tank. But the ads made it look like a happy little sea monkey family having dinner. But that's what they looked like. So 4.5 out of 5, because it really is. It's fun. It's gruesome. As always, the characters are interesting. There are twists and turns. It's well worth $1.99. I'm kind of hoping that once all 3 have been out in digital, that they'll put them together in a physical book. Because I prefer physical books to digital. That's just me. I'm old-fashioned that way. Plus, I love to be able to just look at that cover anytime I want. Oh, having them on the shelf. But until then, pick up a digital copy. 4.5 out of 5 sea monkey heads. And so, with that, I will have at least one link, maybe more. I don't know if it's available on the Kobo or the Nook or whatever else they have besides Kindle, but I'll put at least 1, maybe 2 links for the book in the description down below, so you can pick it up and read a good old-fashioned kind of monster story. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. If you want to know more details, you can ask. This has been kind of a quick review, because it's a pretty quick story. Sea monsters terrorizing a town. Kids trying to stop them. But comment, let's chat. Please like, share, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I have been your host, Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.